Tonight at 11, it is Super Tuesday.
From the mountains to the coast, election workers are counting your votes right now. Where things stand at this hour and why it is taking longer than before to see election results.
Plus, we're hearing from you about what drove you to the polls.
It's important that every vote counts. Democracy is in trouble.
I'm just voting to give the fellow man a fighting shot.
Also, leaders in Matthews debate how the public should be able to comment after derogatory outbursts at a recent meeting. I'm Vanessa Rufus.
And I'm Colin Mayfield. The news starts now.
And at this hour, NBC News and the Associated Press project that President Joe Biden has won the North Carolina Democratic presidential primary. The latest results here showing Biden with 88% of the vote, no preference coming in at 12%. For some context here, 2012 was the last primary with a Democrat as president. In that election, then President Obama saw a 20% uncommitted vote.
On the Republican side tonight, NBC News and the Associated Press project that former President Donald Trump has won the North Carolina Republican presidential primary. Many not surprised here. The latest results show that Trump with a 75% of that vote. You can see Nikki Haley has 23% of the vote tonight. Governor Roy Cooper appearing on MSNBC already tonight, just speaking about what is shaping up to be a rematch of the 2020 election.
This is going to be a choice here. And I think people are slowly wrapping their minds around the fact that this is going to be a Trump-Biden rematch. I think tonight's primaries, people will begin to come to that realization.
So, Vanessa, you're at the board tonight. If you look at the state as a whole at this point, Haley is not leading in any counties.
That's correct, Colin. Yeah, so here at this big board, we're able to see some more granular results, a breakdown county by county. And yes, as you mentioned, Donald Trump here with just under 75% of the vote in North Carolina, Nikki Haley with just under 23%. But really pay attention here to the shades of green, because really that is Donald Trump. And as you can see, everything is essentially green here. And what we really see as far as things that stick out are going to be counties with lighter shades of green. So this is a weaker showing for the former president. Probably no surprises here. We're going to be focusing on the cities when it comes to those weaker showings. So we have Asheville, which is Buncombe County. We do have the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area here, Mecklenburg County itself, and then Raleigh-Durham. So Wake County, Durham County, in Orange County with weaker showings for the former president. Now, we say no surprises here as we go back in history, take you back to the 2020 general election. We can see these are the very same counties where Joe Biden ended up winning. So Charlotte-Mecklenburg, Asheville, and then the Raleigh-Durham area, those three counties that we pointed out. As we go back even further here, we'll go to the Republican primary of 2016. Of course, the last Republican primary where there was notable opposition here. And these, very interesting to see, are going to be the counties where the president did not win. In fact, we could see these are the counties where he lost to Ted Cruz, or with the exception here of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area, did win, but by a much smaller margin here than some of the other counties that we're seeing. So, of course, that is interesting to see. The kind of changes here, the shifts here since that last primary. Now, we spoke with conservative strategist Ashley Harris today about what this might mean for Nikki Haley.
I'm hoping that she will continue in 2028, and I'm hoping that when she bows out, that she'll bow out gracefully. But then also, I'm hoping that she will stand behind the Republican nominee. There's been some reports that saying that she wouldn't. I hope that she would for the sake of continuing to bring unity to the Republican Party because we need it.
So we have more projections to get to in the race for North Carolina governor. On the Democratic side, NBC News and the Associated Press project Josh Stein has won the Democratic primary. You can see 69% of the vote. The latest results just in there. Michael Morgan with 14%. On the Republican side, NBC News and the Associated Press project that Mark Robinson has won the Republican primary for governor. The latest results show that Robinson has 65% of the vote. Dale Folwell with 19%. Both Robinson and Stein speaking tonight, though.
I stand on the shoulders of my mother and all of those who came before me, who laid the groundwork that made it possible for me to stand here as the first black lieutenant governor and possibly the first black governor of North Carolina.
Today, we took an important first step, but we must be clear-eyed about the stakes of this election. We're at a crossroads, and the choice before us, two competing visions for North Carolina.
Now, as the votes continue to trickle in tonight, some say they hope it will result in transformation throughout their communities and across the country. WCNC Charlotte's Tradisha Woodard went to the polls to find out why voters wanted to make their voices heard.
I spoke with many folks here casting their ballot tonight who say this election is a big one. They say if you want to see real change, you got to put the right person in the right seat. Why vote?
Just because democracy is in trouble.
It's a question that has many different answers.
I want to make sure my neighbor down the street can feed their kids. It's crazy.
This is just a turbulent period that we've been in, and we need change.
Change was one of the biggest echoes from voters hitting the polls today, expressing concerns about the number of people displaced and families who are struggling to survive.
I make decent money, but it's hard to make it. I mean, my mortgage is going up. Everything's going up.
We should not be, having as many people, homeless and on the streets.
Others also address concerns for things like more integration and human rights.
We've seen a lot of things overturned in the Supreme Court. We've seen a lot of changes happening that are really affecting a lot of people's fundamental rights, which can be a huge problem. I know that's a big concern of mine specifically.
When you vote now, you're voting to support people and try to make sure everybody, again, has a fighting shot.
Chances, they say, are powered by your vote.
If you don't vote, then don't complain.
And as voters continue to stress the importance of this election, they're encouraging folks to do the same and get out and vote. Reporting with WCNC Charlotte, I'm Tradisha Woodard.
Now, we're also getting some other insights from exit polls from NBC News. They had folks at 30 polling sites across the state interviewing 1,900 voters during early voting as well as today. So keep in mind these responses are from Republican primary voters. One of the topics touched on here, fitness to serve effectively. So certainly been a talking point this election so far. 58% of voters say Nikki Haley has the physical and mental health needed to serve effectively as president. Meantime, 75% of voters say Donald Trump has the physical and mental health needed. Now, the former president we know is facing a number of criminal trials right now. Republican voters were asked if he was convicted of a crime, would he still be fit to be president? Nearly 2/3 say yes, 33% say no. Asked if current President Joe Biden legitimately won the presidency in 2020, 34% say yes, 6 in 10 say no. And then which one of these four issues matters most when it comes to deciding how to vote today here? 41% of Republicans say immigration. We have 33% talking about the economy. And then here, 11% with abortion, 10% talking about foreign policy. Colin, some insights that we're seeing here.
Yeah, some interesting numbers, definitely, that hopefully will help us foreshadow ahead to November. So this year, all U.S. House seats are up for grabs. Let's take a look at some of the closer contests right here in our local area. In the 6th district, it's a three-man race with Addison McDowell holding a slim lead. You can see the Republican who wins here will go on to represent the 6th district in Washington. Representative Kathy Manning is not running again after the redistricting. In the 8th, it's another tight race on the GOP side. Pastor Mark Harris currently leads Alan Bacum. The winner will face Democrat Justin Dews in November. And then in the 10th district, Republican Pat Harrigan holds a slim lead over State Representative Gray Mills. The winner will face Democrat Ralph Scott Jr. Let's go to the 14th. The AP has called the race for Republican State House Speaker Tim Moore. But on the Democrat side, Pam Junent is the projected winner for the Democrats. The 14th is left vacant right now because Representative Jeff Jackson chose not to run again after the new districts were drawn.
Now, Jackson is running to become the next state attorney general. The AP projects he will secure the Democratic nomination, setting up a showdown with Republican Dan Bishop in November.
Now to a surprise out of Mecklenburg County. Longtime County Commissioner Pat Cotham appears to be falling short in her re-election bid, with all precincts reporting she's currently fourth, with only the top 3 at-large candidates landing a spot on the commission. Now for county election boards across North Carolina, this election acts as a trial run for new state voting rules. These changes impact when election workers can count early voting ballots and which mail-in ballots will be accepted.
As WCNC Charlotte's Julia Kaufman reports, fortunately, things went smoothly today.
Hundreds of cars filed into the election office parking lot Tuesday after thousands cast their votes. 31. Polls closed at 7:30. And under new state election laws, that's also the time workers are allowed to start counting early voting ballots.
It's a little bit more work on everybody here.
About 52,500 people voted early in Mecklenburg County. Election day numbers are still being finalized. The Republican-led legislature made several changes to voting laws ahead of the primary, like upping the deadline for mail-in ballots. Any absentee ballot that did not get to the election office by 7:30 Tuesday will not count. Mecklenburg County Elections Director Michael Dickerson says the post office worked hard to make sure all were in.
Literally did what they call a sweep of all the post offices here in town and brought them all to one location so that we could get everything in.
Supporters of the new laws say they ensure voting integrity and security. Groups like Common Cause NC worry they restrict voting rights.
But I worry that it's going to potentially mean that legally cast ballots by people who are registered will not be counted, just because, again, the mail is not always reliable.
Dickerson says there's no question Mecklenburg County elections are secure.
The machines are secure and safe at all times. And just the whole fact of downloading the results the way we do on a standalone computer and walking it to an internet computer after that, we know nothing's corrupted the data that we have coming in.
That was Julia Kaufman reporting once again. Now keep in mind, as the results continue to come in, you can track the latest on WCNC.com and on the WCNC Charlotte mobile app. Also, you can text the word election to 704-329-3600. We will send you a link straight to your phone.